Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of the shed build. So I thought it was pretty cool how this mockingbird would sit on top of this pole every morning and sing away for probably about at least an hour before flying off. So the next step was to build the rafters. Now you can buy rafters at Lowe's or Menards, but I chose to build my own because I wanted them custom sized. I laid out my roof design on the shed floor and then cut my rafter pieces to fit the design. I went with a gambrel roof design on this shed, which means the rafters will be consisted of 4 pieces. 2 short, steep lower parts and 2 longer, flat upper parts. The dimensions of my rafters that I chose to design were as follows. The short, steep part of the rafter is a 24/12 pitch, and the length of those are 26 and 13/16 of an inch. Where the rafter sits on top of the wall, I cut it at 26.5 degrees, and where it meets the top rafter, I cut it at 20.5 degrees. The top rafter is just under a 5/12 pitch, and it's 65 inches long, and where it meets the bottom rafter, I also cut it at 20.5 degrees, and at the peak, I cut it at 22.5 degrees. All these measurements are at the long points of the angles. Each square in this drawing represents 6 inches. I cut out 12-inch pieces of OSB with the edges being at 4 inches and the centers being 6¼ inches tall. I nailed one of these on each side where the different parts of the rafters meet to hold my rafters together. And on the end ones, I only nailed these on one side, and that being the inside of the rafter. I measured down from the peak of each rafter and put a mark at 3 inches. This line indicates where my top purlin will set. I will put my 2x4 below this mark. And then I also measured down 35 inches, and this indicates where the middle purlin will set on the top part of the roof. The purlin will set above the 35-inch mark. I put another purlin right above and right below the break in the rafters, and then I put the bottom purlin right where the rafter sits on top of the wall. I always like to mark each and every rafter, that way once I get the rafter installed, there is no need to snap chalk lines, and this eliminates the need for temporary purlins. I cut 6 2x4s at 16 foot exact, squared the one end, and marked out the rafter spacing on the center 2x4. I then squared this mark across to all 6 2x4s. These are the first purlins I will install after I get my rafters installed, as these are my spacer purlins. Next, I installed my rafters. I used 16 penny nails and toe nailed them into the top plate. Once I had my 3 rows of spacer purlins installed, I checked the gable end for level and then installed a brace from the peak to the top of the wall to hold the rafters in place for the remainder of the build. Next, I framed up and installed my gable end wall. I framed this wall out for a 9-foot wide by 7-foot tall garage door, which is an in-stock door at Menards. Pretty much sums up the framing of the shed, so that'll be it for part 3 here. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 4 where we start installing metal.